The homestead initially was a demonstration to show the Planetary Tech V2 with all the different biomes, the snow, the desert, the forests. We kind of wanted to finish it on a high note.
Basically the challenge was to take a huge capital ship and crash it into the desert and make it look like it had been there for years and it was kind of rotting and decaying. So initially I was given a mood board by Javelin Derelict, the art director, and this contained lots of images of decaying ships and boneyards of old crashed military ships that were kind of being salvaged, and that was kind of the starting point.
There's these kind of places where cargo liners are kind of parked on a beach and the locals turn up and they kind of tear these cargo liners apart to recycle them. If you look online, you'll find very kind of fascinating ref where there's these huge boats just kind of split in two and you can see all the subdecks and decks. So that was the first port of call. Obviously, you know, there is a strong link to Jakku in episode 7. But we didn't want to religiously follow that, so we had the mood boards in place, but also kind of like Mad Max. The most recent one obviously set in the desert. Thunderdome episode 3 from the originals as well was kind of looked at a lot. Simply because the whole kind of subject matter of those films is very close to what we were trying to create. So there's this kind of rich heritage of history with the ship being there. And it's okay, well, what would happen if like these nomads took it over? How would they make it secure? How would they live there? And there's a lot of things that you didn't see in the demo, which people kind of ran past, but there are actually like little beds in there with a little kind of radio, these little stories and personal touches, which make a lot of difference to me, and you know you'll see a lot more of that in the future as well.
We had to think about how sand would build up on the surfaces and how you get it to look as though the ship is no longer pristine and clean, and it's been out in the sun for years, kind of rusting away. So we made use of the blend shaders in CryEngine to kind of blend from the original panelling that was already there on the Javelin and blended that into either rust or into sand. And the way we approached it was the exterior hull of the ship, that was kind of sandy, and as though the exterior of the ship would be treated so it could withstand the elements, as it were. But then everything that was exposed from the interior, that was just like rusting away and kind of decaying. And that was the way we kind of approached it, so that as you revealed the innards of the ship, you could see it kind of, you know, dying over time.
When news got around the studio that we were gonna kind of do this with the Javelin, a lot of the team were biting at the cookie to try and kind of, you know, get on the team that were making that, because it's a break for us. You know, we're making these pristine ships all the time. When you get the opportunity to do something that's not, you know, this pristine spaceship and shit in space, that you want to kind of bury in a desert or another kind of biome, you can get very kind of creative with that stuff, and tell these stories. And, you know, the guys fundamentally were all environment artists. That's how we all started, and it's always nice to kind of go back there and keep touch with that stuff.
So you're trying to tell that story of a crash, basically. So you wouldn't expect the girders and the beams and the framework to just be sliced. We kind of spent a lot of time cutting into these meshes.
So the day-night cycle is, in the previous version of the engine, it was quite easy to do. You could link glows to a certain time of day. So the previous kind of system had a 24-hour day-night cycle. And you could tell the glow in a shader to go, oh, you know what, at 6 o'clock at night, switch on, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, switch off. We don't know how far we are from the closest star right now, which would be the sun. So we actually don't know how long a day is going to last at a certain point on the planet, right? So there's a lot of kind of things that we kind of need to work out with that. So we have those challenges to kind of think about as well.
Me and all the guys, we do read the forums and we look at the feedback, and it seems to have gone down really well. Everyone here is really proud of their work, and I think everyone did a great job on the crashed Javelin. And I think now we know how to damage a mid-sized ship and a smaller ship, and now we've learnt a lot about how to damage these capital ships, and it's only going to help push things forward in the future.